Picture this, you're in your bracket 3 pod with your buddies and everyone's having a grand old time. The artifact player is doing nothing, the green player is chain ramping with mana dorks, the spellslinger deck has a couple of value engines online, and then you decide to cast a tutor. Suddenly, the table jumps into DEFCON 3 and starts pointing removal at you faster than a Ren and Seri deck can drop in aura shards. Why? Because the moment you search your library, everyone assumes you're holding their dog at gunpoint, meaning they think that you're grabbing an infinite combo, your final win con, or the single best card in your 99. In other words, people think tutors are tryhard. And while I won't deny that they can be used exclusively for finishers or that they're staples in CEDH for a reason, I think that reputation misses the bigger picture. Because today, I want to break down why tutors actually help commander games, especially within the lower brackets. So let's jump into the big reasons why tutors deserve way more love at casual tables. Tutors are toolboxes. While this may be blissfully obvious, tutors can make your deck feel more consistent. One of the unspoken rules of a commander game is that a good game means that every person at the table is able to do their deck's thing. Whether that be pooping enough tokens out to eventually poke your opponents to death or casting the hottest angels in the game, people have fun when their deck works. However, all of that fun comes to a screeching halt the second we miss out on land drops, when we draw one part of the deck and not the others, or we get all of our stuff blown up. Instead of being able to hang out and play Magic, you're twiddling your thumbs and crying. So how do we solve this? You throw in the tutor. While you could run 5 redundant pieces of +1/+1 synergy, we can instead reduce the total amount of these pieces in your deck, freeing up space for other cards, and instead sub 1 in for a tutor. Although you still only have a small chance to draw these sorts of cards, tutors allow you to locate the specific pieces you need to ensure your deck can begin functioning at a higher level. Tutors allow you to take that rogue deck that you play strictly off vibes and elevate it to one that can actually execute its game plan consistently. With just a few selective tutors, you can do funky things like find the one payoff creature that your deck is literally built around instead of watching it hang out in the bottom 40 cards like it's avoiding you. Or you could grab an enchantment that'll give you repeatable value but won't push you over the edge in terms of strength and power. Or you can use it to search up interaction when Chris combos a lot across the table, accidentally assembles an infinite combo on turn 4 and swears that it's a casual deck. Or you can fix your mana when your opening hand looks like a desert, finding you the ramp pieces that you need to cast your big mana commander. Or you can pull your win condition before someone cyclonic rifts your hopes and dreams away. But do it after everyone's done their thing. That's the nice thing to do, at least in casual pods. With tutors, your deck can become less of a chaotic disaster and more of a reliable machine. Not the machine that steamrolls your decks on turn 4, but rather a deck that finally wakes up in the morning and chooses to behave. The next reason I think tutors are awesome is because they speed up games. Look, it's no secret that commander games are known for being notoriously long. 3 board wipes and a symmetrical graveyard reshuffle, and all of a sudden, you've spent 3 hours staring at your bracket 2 deck because you wanted a more chill game after your CDH deck. So why not speed it up? With respect to the bracket system, when you add tutors into your deck, you're basically giving yourself a fast pass through Disneyland. Except instead of Space Mountain, you're just trying to find your 3rd land drop. Tutors reduce the number of slow, sad, and non-functional hands that force you into mulligan limbo, or worse, force you to spend the first 10 turns, quote-unquote, setting up a board state that either never arrives or gets board wiped before you can even spin your wheels. With a tutor in your opening hand, you're not hoping your deck wakes up and decides to cooperate. You're guaranteeing. Instead of relying on the top deck lottery like a desperate gambler, you've got your all reliable sitting right there in your hand whispering, "Don't worry, sweetheart, I gotcha." Tutors get you your deck's main themes, synergies, or answers faster. That means your deck is able to do something before turn 9, which is great news for literally everyone involved. It also means you spend less time dirtling, allowing more time to be spent actually participating in the game that you came there to play. You also get to skip the boring parts, the draw land pass era that makes Commander feel like the DMV waiting room. And lastly, the table's pacing improves. One player's slow turn can start to slow everyone's momentum down at the table. And seriously, let's be honest here, a Demonic Tutor is faster than me trying to read all 100 cards in my own deck. Tutors don't just make your game smoother, they make the entire pod's experience streamlined. The quicker everyone ramps into their actual strategies, the sooner the game becomes exciting, interactive, and worth everyone's time. Tutors aren't just about ending games faster, they're about making games start faster. And for the last point, not all tutors are broken. When people hear the word tutor, they immediately picture you slamming a Demonic Tutor down like you're playing EDH at a streamlined tournament. But tutors, much like mana bases, life choices, and hinge dates, come in very different quality tiers. So let me break it down for you. The first types of tutors are the top shelf tutors, aka I want the thing and I want it now. These are the iconic ones, the tutors that make people flinch when they see you tap 1 or 2 mana on their end step. Demonic Tutor, Enlightened Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Worldly Tutor, Mystic Tutor. These are fast, efficient, and consistent. The command zone calls them powerful, your LGS calls them sweaty, and your buddy calls them problematic unless I'm the one casting them. But here's the thing, these tutors aren't win the game buttons. They're just reliable, cheap to cast, and used most frequently in EDH decks. While they definitely represent the strongest tutors in the game, if a top tier deck needs a specific card to function, a top tier tutor makes sure it gets that card before it goes into the next Ice Age. This tier is perfect for mid to high power decks, ideally brackets 3 to 5, or combo builds, or strategies that really require specific pieces. I will note that the majority of these best-in-class tutors are game changers and will increase the power of your deck. Instant speed tutoring is busted, and these are simply best in class, with black tutors just being truly the best in the game because they are just unconditional and what? That is so busted. Next, you have the fair tutors, also known as we'll get there eventually. These tutors will help you search eventually. They don't break the game, they don't warp the meta, and they don't make anyone angry most of the time. And honestly, your friends will thank you for running these instead of those crazy tutors I was mentioning earlier. These are things like Tribute Mage, which fetches only one thing and it's limited to blue. Or you have Grim Tutor, and like I was saying earlier, black is pretty overpowered because it's unconditional, but it's 3 mana, so not the worst thing in the world. Or you have things like Solve the Equation. It's sorcery speed for a sorcery speed deck. Last, you have things like Open the Armory, getting your Boros deck all of the swords that it needs to slap your opponents around. These cards take more mana, more setup, or come stapled to a body that definitely wasn't invited to the EDH table. Fair tutors will add consistency, they won't speed up the deck or the game too much, and as such are great for casual tables. They don't elicit immediate salt responses, and they make sure that your deck does the thing without doing way too much of the thing. Last but not least, I think we have the slow roller tutors. These tutors don't fetch power, they fetch hope. They're for decks that believe in the heart of the cards, or at least the general vicinity of them. These include things like Shared Summons, 2 creatures that you'll still need to cast for 5 more mana, or Fauna Shaman, but it's just a green birthing pod with extra steps and more vulnerability. Or you have cards like Fiend Artisan. It's not broken and fairly repeatable tutoring, but it's on a creature that can't be in the command zone, so it's easily removed. Or you have cards like Drift of Phantasms. It's a tutor with training wheels. But look, transmute cards are phenomenal and can give decks that want to run those specific pieces the ability to do so without being forced to run black. These kinds of tutors are perfect for lower bracket games and for people who want to fly a little bit more under the radar. And honestly, these tutors are charming as hell and they still do the thing. Granted, at a slightly higher rate than the better tutors. So what's the point of all this really bad? Who cares? The point is that there's a tutor for every playgroup. Look, tutors are pretty strong, but they're not inherently too strong. They're tools, and tools have different uses for different tables. You want tight, consistent gameplay and high-powered pods? You run those top-tier tutors. You want casual, reliable fun without raising too many eyebrows? You can run the fair tutors. And if you just want to make sure that you have the cards that you need, you can play those jank ones. I firmly believe that there is truly a tutor for every single power level, every single kind of deck, and every playstyle. The real crime isn't running tutors. The real crime is sitting there with half your deck in your graveyard, the other half still sitting in your library, and your win condition still waiting in witness protection. While there are many people who still think about that time that their buddy tutored for the win, tutors can be toolboxes that allow your deck to find the right pieces it needs. Whether it's removal for the scary Elish Norn, protection for your board, locating the last piece of your synergy package for the board, or locating the helpful card draw engine, tutors are strong tools that you can use to make your deck more consistent and more functional, allowing you to decide what tools you need for what time, increasing your agency as a player and your game IQ, but further, you can utilize these tutors across power levels. So, if you stayed this long, please comment and tell me your favorite unoptimized tutor or the worst tutor experience that you've ever sat across. And hey, if you liked my stuff, guess what? I have more videos for you to watch. Yippee! Please watch them. But moreover, I have a Patreon. Yippee! You want me to roast and hopefully improve your deck? You want early access to videos? No? Well, who cares? Not me. I'm just happy that you're here supporting the channel. So untap, upkeep, and like the video, tap the subscribe button, and join our awesome sexy Discord. Follow my other awesome sexy accounts, and I'll see you awesome sexy people here next week. This has been Really Bad at Magic the Gathering, or Really Bad for short, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye! Almost Cotton. Danger Wiener 669. You both deserve a smooch. Mwah!